And we're here for another episode of the Wrestling Roundtable podcast as we dig into our post WrestleMania recap episode here. And, just one thing that comes to mind is the best of times, and it was the worst of times. And if you watch WrestleMania, I think you know which one I'm talking about. I'm Ryan Hall, as always. I got my guy Dominique LaRue on the other side, repping his New Orleans Saints as we've got the NFL draft going on here tonight. And as we record this, and I think you nailed, I think you absolutely nailed what each one of these nights were going to be. Is that night two was phenomenal, and we're going to get to that main event. But night one, um, I'm having a hard time calling it anything but just mid.
Night one was worse than a Saturday night main event. Any Saturday night main event we've seen in previous months, night one was worse than any of those. And that's speaking volumes.
That's a big statement.
Um, I wish I know I got some things right, but I wish one particular thing I would have got absolutely right is remember when I said that if Cody was going to walk out of Las Vegas as champion, he would have had to turn heel. Um, he had some tendencies of being a heel, tendencies, loosely said.
Right.
But God Almighty, what a shiner Randy put on his face after that match. I think, to be honest, I think that's probably the best thing that could have happened outside of Bianca announcing her pregnancy to really like make night one somewhat justifiable. But at the expense of Cody almost losing his eye, I rather that wouldn't been the case. So
Oh my God. Yeah, yeah. No, night one, for the most part, there's a word. I'm not going to use the actual word on this podcast because I do want to keep this somewhat PG-13, but the word rhymes with bluster truck.
that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, bluster truck. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got
Yeah, yeah, you
you.
feel
Yeah,
me on that?
yeah, I feel
Um,
you.
because the biggest, like, n the longest match of the whole show, which ran close to 4 hours, was the main event. And that was only like 17, 18 minutes.
And
Like
I would like to say
Stephanie and Liv barely got 8 minutes. Their entrances were longer than the freaking match. So many commercials, so many promos for so many promos for um that Hulk Hogan documentary that it was it at times.
it had a musical performance
I mean, I
for
know
an
I was
entrance.
generous. You call that
Live,
music?
no, I don't. And
Okay.
thank God that I had it on mute anyway. So like Liv coming out to her own song and perform like literally doing a dance routine to it before she's fight is crazy. Um, and my friend here, Ryan, my buddy, my brother, he's loosely being generous when he was talking about the main event. Yes, it was 17 minutes, but if you take 8 minutes of your time out of that match with Pat and Jelly Roll being involved in that match, like that's pretty much what we had. And that was the main event. That was you compare that match to Roman versus CM Punk, and it's literally not even close to what it should have been. But just think of Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. That match was a classic. Cody versus Randy is forgettable outside of the punt kick. And like Ryan, I pointed this out to you, and I mean they did it on Monday too. And obviously it was an
Yeah.
accident on Monday, but they they've been pulling the blood card quite a bit lately. You notice that?
They sure have.
And I'm like, the fact that you pulled a blood card on the main event of which was what matter of fact, I'll go ahead and say it. If you erase Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll from that match, the whole storyline in general, and you would have kept the blood involved in that match and just the utter a whooping that Randy gave Cody, it would have been justifiable. That match would have been it still would have been second tier to night two's main event, but it still would have been right there, second tier. I put that
Right.
main event in the D tier. So
Yeah.
that's me literally putting Danhauser's segment over the main event. Danhauser.
You're gonna get it
Let,
eventually, my friend. You're gonna
let,
get it
let,
eventually.
but let me repeat it. Let me repeat it. The
Yes.
Miz, Kit Wilson, John Cena, and Danhauser. Hausen. Mr. Curse Man. Mr. Curse
Hausen.
Man himself. Hausen.
Yes.
Hausen.
Yes.
Danhausen.
Yeah, like
Yes.
you just
I'm
curse your
literally
mouth.
putting
Yeah.
I'm putting them over night one's main event. Yeah, let it soak in. I
That
just want you to
that's just a cry. It's just a cry. It's just a crying shame.
because it
It's
was
just a
like
crying shame.
it could have been, and maybe I'm just being over. I'm just talking out the side of my neck, but I just it's forgettable. Besides the punt kick, it's forgettable. The best moment of that match when Randy
Yeah.
RKO'd Pat McAfee.
Yeah. Who he and Jelly Roll had no purpose, no point, no reason to be in that match. They
None.
had no reason to be 500 miles of Las Vegas. I said it to you in the pre-show, and I'll say it again here in the episode. If McAfee was on the commentary table, I freaking hated that guy at first. But I definitely warmed up to him and I enjoyed his stuff. I mean, he's goofy as hell, don't get me wrong, but he was, yeah, but like he grew on me. If he was at the commentary
Yeah.
desk with Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, I'd have been fine with it. But there's no reason why you take a punter and a country music singer and put them into the main event with two first ballot Hall of Famers. Why in the blue corn hell would you do something like that? Oh, I know, money. But how much did it actually make? How much money did it actually bring in? How many people bought tickets because Pat McAfee was going to come, was going to end up eating an RKO or the Jelly Roll table spot? I mean, why?
If I had the
Why?
money,
Oh,
if I had the money to get nosebleed seats, and you told me if I knew what between the two matches, right?
right.
I definitely wouldn't pick night one. I definitely would pick night two
Hell no. Yeah.
because the storyline alone was juicy enough. I hate you. I envy you. History. Oh, that's a key word. History between these two. All right.
Real history between those two.
Real history, real heat, real hatred. Flip the coin, you got two, the student and the teacher that Michael Cole likes to always point out. Um, you know, I looked up to you, Randy, blah, 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 this, that, the third. At the end of the day, they had story. They had history, right? Cody literally came out to an entrance of his history of not only being in WWE, but his history with Randy. You didn't need Pat McAfee being involved at all. Pat McAfee never made sense in this story. Like the man literally said on the phone, Randy said, wrestling has more than one royal family. Pat McAfee's family doesn't have nothing to do with wrestling at all, just being a fan. That's it. We have a multitude of wrestling royalty families, uh, Ordens, um, the
Yeah.
the Samoans, Cody Rhodes, Ric Flair's, uh, uh, oh, almost got the one most important family that started it all in the first darn place, the McMahons. You could have done something with Stephanie where it would have been shocking and appealing at the same time. She comes out, try to talk Cody into like, hey, you got to think like Randy.
And
You
she
got to do
had
this
that
like Randy.
segment
Blah, blah,
with
blah.
him.
Which she had, and then you turn around and reveal that she was the one on Randy's phone talking to him, getting him back to being who he is. Come and kick Cody in the nuts. She got a good mean kick too, on top of her slap. But you pick a former NFL punter who is a commentator. That's like, and no disrespect to this man because he's a legend, and it probably would have made more sense anyway. JR. That's like JR coming out and kicking Cody in the nuts. It's like Jerry King Lawler. It's like freaking Michael Q. All of a sudden, out of the blue, he gets back in the ring. It didn't make sense. Nothing you can
It-
do and rewatch that whole storyline, that whole rivalry, and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna sprinkle Pat McAfee in there. That'd make a lot of sense.
it- you
And
brought up an
what did I tell
interesting.
you?
Yeah.
What did I tell you, Ryan? Going into it, I was like, okay, well, maybe Pat is just there to do Rock's bidding because The Rock is friends with Pat McAfee. The Rock has history with both dudes in that freaking match.
Yeah.
But
No.
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 TKO wants to come over there and drop a big TKO. You know what? All over that storyline.
TKO turd. Um. But it, it you brought up a good name. The whole Pat McAfee involvement in this program didn't make a lick of sense to me. But you remember how when Michael Cole got on his soapbox about this, which personally I understand because Michael Cole and Pat McAfee are famously very close friends.
Mhm.
That just made it stick out even worse.
It didn't
In
help.
my
It didn't help at all.
No, it just made it stick out even worse because it's like it's like talking about the pink and purple polka dotted elephant in the corner of the room.
And then, you know what else that pissed me off about that? Jelly Roll is associated more with Randy than he ever was with Cody. I never saw Cody like backstage or whatever with Jelly Roll. They literally had a tag team match with Randy. and Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul and Grayson Waller. Like the history is there between them two, so I can understand why Jelly Roll was involved in getting his butt
Yeah.
beat by Randy. That brings a sentimental part to it. Like, oh man, no, you beating Jelly Roll was your guy. But hey Cody, I got your guy back here. What? No, that's not. No, what? Oh, what? Jelly Roll ain't that your guy? Like you had a blue RKO shirt on when you was chilling with Jelly Roll. Now you back to being a Viper or whatever, and you're attacking your friend, which makes sense because I mean that's Randy. He literally attacks Ric Flair. He literally attacked Christian. Like all these people that he was cool with, he attacked them, butt kicked them. But Jelly Roll is Cody's buddy. What? Pat McAfee is the one that talked you into being the Viper. What? The dude that
Pat,
literally gets on the table and yeets every time when Jay came out, like a big ass kid. And he's the one that
yeah.
talked you into being the Viper again.
This is the same guy whose job on college game day is to sit next to Nick Saban and keep him in line.
Um, quick. I'm glad you brought up Nick Saban because Trey Simpson has just got drafted by the LA Rams.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna drop to Arizona. Wow. Wow.
All right, all right.
Matthew Stafford informed them to draft him. Wow, that's big.
I
He's
see
going
you,
to a
Nick. I see that big grin on your face, Nick. All right.
right. And speaking
Uh,
of, I got, one of the the Heisman winner, Mark Ingram.
yep. There
Okay,
you
he was
go.
on that's
Hashtag
what
built
happened.
hashtag built by Bama, baby.
Yeah. Hashtag roll tide.
Yeah.
Back to the
Uh,
segment though. I ain't mean to
yeah,
sway
yeah,
us away.
yeah. No, no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I mean, it just like the whole like that whole night. Like even Paige's return, which was the worst kept secret on the internet, just landed like like a flat piece of paper to me.
Or you being nice now. You come on now. Come on, hit me what you're saying now. It landed like a what?
A wet fart, maybe?
Yep, there you go. If
Okay.
I had the sound for it, I'll play it. That'd be but yeah, it definitely landed like that because it was
It
like,
did. No, no. A wet fart in church.
ah, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Now,
Yeah,
granted,
we got to get the
granted, I,
saying.
I was excited. I was excited to see Paige. I was like, oh, it's not Paige, but it was like, I kind of knew he was coming back because Nikki was hurt, so it's kind of like, but it didn't make no sense. But interesting enough about Paige, if they do what most people on the IWC is thinking of, and I mean, it's a big if because they got to get this person back from AEW, and I don't think she's ever coming back, but you do a storyline with the original four horse women, as they like to say, the pioneers of the women's evolution, which was AJ Lee, Paige. I love them. I love them. I'm gonna say, okay, the Bella twins. I mean, yes, they pioneered them as far as like outside of wrestling with the whole, you know, the whatever total divas and stuff. So, yes,
Yep.
they pioneered them in that aspect. Okay, but yes, you get those horsewomen, and then you get the four horsewomen that really pioneered the new generation of
Mm.
superstars, not divas, superstars.
Yep.
Charlotte, Becky, Bailey, and Monet. Or excuse me, Sasha Banks.
To say, better say that one right. Better say that one right. Yeah, I know that you. I, I'd love to see her back. Don't get me wrong. Um, she can leave that weak music in AEW. She can leave that name in AEW.
That whole
But
persona she could leave.
yeah, that the whole persona, exactly. But at the same time, do we really want to hear Michael Cole talking about it's boss time like over and over and over again?
I think I'd rather take that to him keep telling us that he's cool with every celebrity that they mention. I think I'd rather take that. Oh, that's my dog. That's my dude. That's my guy. That's my
Yeah.
Michael Cole. You don't know Two Chains.
It,
Stop that
it,
right.
every random rapper that gets ringside seats for Monday Night Raw.
Uh, And no disrespect to Michael Cole. You probably do know some folks, but
Yeah.
not no hardcore gangster rapper. It's like saying he cool with Ice Cube. Like if Ice Cube was there, he's like, oh, that's my guy, Ice Cube. No, 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 Michael Cole.
His
Sorry.
son, maybe.
Yes, but no, no. Little Yachty, that's my guy. You didn't know Little Yachty till he showed up to WWE. You didn't
Travis
probably
Scott,
know.
that's oh God, I said the TS
Oh
yeah.
my God. No, you did not, sir.
Let me go get some bleach and rinse my mouth out. I'll be right back.
I know we talk about night one and everything, but you didn't have to go that low. Okay.
God. Oh, God, please forgive me, IWC. Oh,
I can't believe you did it, right?
I
We
did.
was doing
I
so good.
did. It just like it just came out of my mouth and I couldn't
And
stuff it back.
I mean, it came out like with excitement too. Like that's I'm shocked. Let's reel this back here. We
Yes,
let's
yes, let's
night two. Yeah,
yeah,
night two.
yeah,
We go night two.
let's yeah, but yeah, let's safe
Usa,
one place, safe one place. Who's all right.
Usa.
Night two redeemed the whole weekend, in my opinion.
Oh my God, it did. It did. I can't even say one. The only bad thing I could probably say about night two is the advertisement. I got sick of it,
Well, I
but
mean,
I mean, it was gonna come anyway. But I mean, from the beginning, from the opening, from just as much excitement you and I had for the Obafemi and Brock match, and it. I mean, obviously it could have went longer. We would have loved for it to went longer, but it did not. But it definitely gave us what we wanted, and it definitely gave
it
us
did.
that patented Biggie, two big meaty men slapping meat. That they definitely was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But lo and behold, I didn't think that match was the match that was like, all right, let's tilt our hats and say goodbye to another legend because Brock retired, and that was like that was out of the blue.
Totally, totally. Like he's sitting in the middle of the ring, taking his boots off, taking his gloves off, crying like crazy. Hold it. He put up the X sign, which what was my clue. Like, holy crap, this is real. Which, if you don't know, and if you're watching wrestling, you probably should know. But if you don't know, when a referee puts up the X sign, that usually means that there's a legitimate injury in the ring that we got to take care of.
Right. Right. Or outside of that, that what I'm finna do is actually real.
Right.
So
Yeah, no, that
and
definitely that definitely took me off guard. The match went about as I would have expected. Um, and I'm starting to think that there were only three people in that whole stadium that knew what Brock was going to do. Brock, Oba, and the referee in that match. I don't think Triple H knew. I don't think the producers on the match knew. I think it was like I don't think anybody in the stadium knew except for those three guys.
yeah, I mean, and I mean, we see Paul cry, but like Paul don't cry just to cry.
No,
Paul's crying for real.
no, he
So
was. He was. And,
he cried.
you
He
know,
cried at the end of WrestleMania 40 when it was pretty much the end of the bloodline, and
mhm.
that
You
was
know,
what great run that was. So
but one thing that I was noticing during that entire segment was like my eyes kept drifting because the camera stayed static
mhm.
on Brock in the middle of the ring. But my eyes kept drifting to Cole and Wade Barrett sitting ringside. Neither one of them knew what was going on, but I'm sure they were getting instructions in their headsets, like what the hell's going on here?
Yeah,
Like, how can we talk about this? Because it doesn't like it was that was kind of a surreal segment.
yeah,
That's
it
kind of
was.
like a surreal segment.
I mean, to this day, it's still shocking.
Yeah, no, it completely is. But I also think that establishes Obafemi as one of the biggest killers in the entire company right now.
And he don't have to be labeled as a career killer.
No, he can just be a killer, the ruler.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, yeah. Um, well, you had Penta retain
Not
the IC
wow.
championship in that insane ladder match.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, the MVP of that night is, I mean, obviously all the guys were MVPs, but Rey Mysterio. I mean, to this guy, we've been calling for his retirement for a good minute, and yet Brock retires, and this man is doing a ladder match. What is going on in 2026?
Rey Mysterio was older, probably older. He was older than anybody in that ring by a good like 12 years, 15 years. And his knees were probably 30 years older than everybody else in that ring.
Exactly.
Um, but he looked phenomenal. He looked incredible. And this is still the same guy um who in one of the earliest Monday Night Raw episodes over 30 years ago, Kevin Nash threw him into the side of the production truck like a lawn dart.
He's a brilliant.
1996. Still blows my mind. Um, but what did you think of the Demon Finn Balor and old Dirty Dom?
I loved it. I was hurt by the fans and their reaction because I thought it was gonna be, hyped. But like I said, I didn't like the fact that they advertised the demon like they did. They should have just had Finn Balor on the card as Finn Balor, and he taps into that side. That's not a thing you just advertise. It's need to be surprised. Just like not in the same realm because obviously they advertise the Fiend a lot differently, but just like the Fiend, we never see him other than when he attacks people or when he's obviously finna do the match. But we always get Bray Wyatt. We get his persona on TV and he's talking and he's basically the valet to the Fiend. So they should have did that in that aspect as well. But this is TKO's WWE, so
Yeah, well, I'm surprised they didn't put a Slim Jim logo as part of his face paint.
I'm surprised they didn't do a what's that water they like to advertise? I don't know, or the whiskey. I'm surprised they didn't do the whiskey on the damn back or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Thank
that's
you for
more of a Cody
bringing. Thank
Rhodes
you for
thing. So,
thank you for bringing up the vodka. I just started humming
oh
that.
yeah, vodka. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
I
Yes,
just started humming that stupid jingle in my head, which,
I should have drunk it for night one. That's what I should have drunk
yeah, you should have.
instead of the rocks whiskey. I mean, tequila, which that definitely helped me somewhat enjoy that night. But yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely did not. I slept well. I know that. I slept
yeah.
pretty good.
I was gonna say the whole bottle might have helped that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it
Yeah,
still doesn't because I still got that in my brain. But you know, but moving on.
yeah,
Rhea and Jade was a very entertaining match.
yeah. No, and I gotta say, I had my to say that I had my reservations about that match. It's kind of putting it lightly.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill showed out on that match. Now, I think that
Yes.
was I think a lot of it was because she had a great dance partner, but
Yep.
she pulled out a one-winged angel for crying out loud. She pulled out Omega's move. That was like, what the hell did we just watch? That was
Yes.
wild.
That was
She has come light years from where she was. She's, I will give her my flowers. If I was wearing a hat, I'd take it off to her. She has been putting in the work. She has absolutely been putting in the work. And kudos to Jade Cargill on that one. That match, it was not the match of the night. That was the main event. But it definitely surprised me as to how good it was.
told you. I told you. I was like,
Yeah, no, no, you
Rhea's gonna
definitely
bring
nailed
that.
that one. Yeah,
Rhea's gonna bring out the absolute best, and she definitely did. And I hope from this it continues. Like I want nothing but
completely.
the best for Jade. Like she got to step up as one of the biggest stars. Because I mean, like one of the big stars. Because I mean, Bianca's gone for another 9 months. So
Yeah,
or
Bianca
not, excuse me,
Bianca's
not nine
gone.
months.
Yeah,
She
right.
well, I mean, potentially 9 months. I mean, she pretty much probably gonna have the baby 6 months, and then like she need that time to recover and all this other stuff if she does
Recover
come
and
back.
train and stuff like that. Yeah,
So
yeah, and
yes,
also get her hand right too.
yes, yes. Having a baby is not for the weak. Trust me.
No.
But
Um,
kudos to both of them. Um, man, just kudos to everybody that at the WrestleMania. But night two is just we needed that. We needed
yeah.
that because night two last year compared to this year, it's light years away better than night two was last year. So
No, I mean, that's I know. Godfather Freddie Fingers. I mean, it's like me. All right. Can we talk about that main event?
yes, we absolutely can. Yes,
All
yes, yes.
right. All right.
What
See
a
him.
big feel energy type match that was from the two interests. And you already know I love Romans because I
Right.
literally got that that ringtone. He came out, obviously he had the band or whatever.
Right.
Um, but CM Punk, I never seen one of his Ring of Honor matches. I didn't know his interest in music from there, but to sprinkle that in, and then the cold walk he did. No lights, no music, just all focus on him. The utter scream of the crowd. The 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 jacket. Can we just talk about the jacket?
Oh, let's talk about the jacket.
The respect and admiration he had for his fellow crewmates. He had their names on the arm, and then
Hmm.
one on the chest, and then one for Larry on the other chest. And man, that was nice. I know that touched a special place in your heart.
No,
Seeing that,
no, no, it got me. Yeah, it definitely got
yeah.
me.
But hopefully, if CM Punk ever hears this, like that was pretty dope, man, and we loved it.
It was.
Um, I love like obviously this is entertainment. Obviously they are playing characters, but I do love the human aspect of performing, where you break the fourth wall, show respect to people, you know, outside of the people we see on camera, and the admiration they have for the fellow crewmen or whoever that helps make the show. It's like they're family, and I love it. I love seeing that. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
And
no,
then,
yeah, that was beautiful.
I mean,
Before we start talking about the actual match,
okay,
I just to kind of bring out my, kind of music nerdiness here.
okay.
Um, the way that they're starting to mix up Roman Reigns' music and that absolutely insane pianist they had play him out. That dude was insane.
That brother got a chick that night.
Oh, oh, big time, big time. Um,
That brother got a chick.
um, just that, like, I've said it so many times. I have said it so many times. Every eyeball, every camera that is watching that screen, that is watching that stadium, that is watching that ring, is going to be watching that man walk down to the ring. That's the kind of aura that The Rock, that's the kind of aura that The Undertaker, that's the kind of aura that Stone Cold, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, all of the greats, that's the kind of aura that you need to be a champion that makes a ton of money. And we all know that Roman Reigns is a damn good champion.
Absolutely.
But yeah, but and just also the presentation of both of those introductions was just pristine. No notes at all.
Well, what that falls back to what you said in our previous episodes. Before you even get in that ring, before you even open your mouth, before you even do what you do in that ring, presentation, look, or two, like we broke it down, four different things that play into not only a great match but a great performer, and those two were big, production and look, the way they just, you know, obviously both were different, but the way they did it was just, it was a heavyweight fight. It was like looking at Tyson and Holyfield. It was looking at uh 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 Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Like, that's how great that build up to that match was.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the match
yeah.
itself was
Even,
just,
just five-star classic. By far the match of the weekend. And one thing that I want to point out about that match, no outside interference at all. It was just two pros going into that ring
mhm.
and beating the hell out of each other for a half hour. There was very little of that finisher spamming, which has started to really drive me crazy. Um, there was no interference. There was no wonkiness with the referee. Shout out to my guy Rod in the medium shirt, by the way. hell of a job reffing that match. But it was simple professional wrestling storytelling. It was two guys putting their bodies on the line for the entertainment of the people in that stadium and the people watching on TV. That match was beautiful. It was violent. It was bloody. It was, it was physical, but that match was beautiful.
It was, and it saved. Night two saved it, but like that really put the cherry on top for as night two.
Well, yeah.
So that was. I think we have technical difficulties at the moment.
We got kind of kind of
Okay, we're
turning the
back.
page
We're back.
into yeah, got a new champion, kind of turning the page to our new uh to the Raw after WrestleMania.
Hmm.
Definitely seems like we're about to run it back with the OG bloodline, which I hope there's some different twists that they put into that, because I still think there's money on the table for that.
Absolutely.
But that whole segment, with Jacob coming out and challenging for the championship at Backlash, which, yay. But I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot to kind of unpack, I think, from Monday Night Raw.
Yes. And I feel like we definitely will and unpack because I feel like last episode and then the following week is definitely going to add on to what we have, like theories and what could possibly happen. Because I mean, I've said this. Once they go back to their bloodline story, I mean, it's finna bring some moolah. It's finna bring money. It's finna bring eyes. It's finna bring some excitement. It's finna bring, I mean, pretty much that's the one big thing that why we started this pod. I mean, because of storylines like that, like stories like that. When you tell us great story like that, you have nothing but things to talk about with it.
And when that storyline was working, when that storyline was working and it was working for a long time, that was practically, Shakespeare level storytelling.
Yeah,
I've already made the comparison many, many times about the Star Wars universe, but that's the kind of level, that's the kind of, um, that's the kind of just cinematic storytelling that was when it was on. And again, I hope there's some, some angles that they pull out of that. But I'm definitely excited to see where it goes.
absolutely. Look, I ain't even gotta. You already know because I get on here and talk for everybody, but
Yeah,
I am
totally.
very excited, and I am very excited to tap in with you on this for sure. Because obviously, you and I talked before the show. I got a couple theories going on, and I'm gonna save. I'm definitely gonna save it for next episode.
There you go. And we also got a couple of NXT call-ups too, like Ethan Page totally just took Javon Evans out to the woodshed.
And the Rusev, of course.
Yeah, but can we talk about Lola Vice? That's a star right there.
Yeah, but hold on. She's still on NXT.
I know.
How are we gonna forget? How are we gonna forget? So Rook, that's a star.
I misspoke. Sol Ruca. Yes, Sol Ruca.
Okay,
Yes, I misspoke.
okay.
Damn
I
it.
was like,
All
I
right.
mean, long as a star now, but like, yeah,
Yeah,
she's the NXT champion, but yeah, so
right.
Ruka.
So,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
who Sol Ruca, who is fortunate that she didn't break her neck taking that table spot
Oh
the other
my
day.
goodness, yes, that was scary. Like I pray and hope she's okay and like she can, perform next week, or even if she can't, like I hope she recovers and take the time she needs. But
Yeah, like if you didn't see it, it's not for the faint of heart. But it was a table spot where it looks like she kind of missed her like landing spot and took so much of that damage right on the back of her head. And when a wrestling crowd goes silent like that, when you can tell that everybody in that room just gasped, that was real, and that was absolutely terrifying.
yeah, yeah, it was literally a dude in the crowd like
Yeah.
holding his because he thought the worst. So
Yeah, no, no, completely, completely. But yeah, and also sounds like my guy Joe Hendry's getting the call up too.
yeah, yeah, your guys going to the moon.
Yeah, yeah. Say his name and he will appear on Raw.
Oh my God. Can you imagine the interactions with him and Danhausen? Danhausen never says his name. He calls him whatever, but and then like somebody said, or like Danhausen like you are, and then somebody say Joe Henry. He disappears, and Danhausen like looking around like where you go, man. Oh my God, that's gonna be classic. That's gonna be
Yeah, it's gonna
hilarious.
be. Yeah. Speaking of Danhausen, wonder how much money that man made over this weekend just in merchandise sales.
Oh, money, 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 money. He made
No, the
a boatload.
just insane. Just and he's barely wrestled. He's
Yeah,
barely wrestled. And he's got so many, like he's got like three or four t-shirts on, WWE shop that are like number one on the list. I mean, it's I haven't seen anything like that in a long, long time.
this was for a as we call it, a jobber. I mean, not necessarily a jobber, but a mid card kind of talent. That's
Yeah,
that's that's crazy.
yeah, completely,
Our truth,
complete.
our truth when he pulling in shit like that. I mean, excuse me. Oh, excuse me, French. Pulling in stuff like that until he had to cut his dreads off, which served no purpose. But
Exactly, exactly. Um, well, I think that'll put a bow on WrestleMania weekend. Half of it was great, half of it was, you know, it was a night. And yeah, I think as the great Greg Allman famously sang, the road goes on forever. We're headed to Backlash in 3 weeks. We're headed to Night of Champions here in a couple of months, and
Mhm.
yeah, the road goes on forever.
Yes, sir. And we
Yeah,
gon' we gonna keep riding that road for sure.
exactly, exactly. Well, before we wrap up here today, I something got under my just really got under my skin, and I normally don't I normally don't pay this stuff like this any mind because I know that wrestling fans can be looked on as being kind of goofy, kind of that's fake kind of stuff,
Right.
but the there's a man named Rob Parker who is a host on Fox Sports Radio. Said some stuff that just really got under my skin, and I wanted to read some of his comments. and
Please
also
do. I
react
want to
to
hear
it.
this.
And I'm not going to crash out about this because I do have some very I do have some well-formed thoughts about this.
No worry.
But
No
but
worry, brother. I'll handle that part for you.
yeah, yeah. What he said was, I just cannot get over how older guys who are sports fans, who watch the NFL, who watch Major League Baseball, who watch the NBA, they live and die for that stuff. But they have this soft spot for wrestling, and they're walking around with the belts, and they're going to a watch party at a sports bar, or whatever it may be. I need somebody to explain it to me because I don't understand it. Now, the thing I think that really gets under my skin about this is that there's so much division. There's so much, war and destruction and, you know, soon to be $5 gas prices in this world. Why are we ragging on something that brings people joy? Why are we making fun of something that makes us get connected to our inner child? I mean, I can't tell you how many intelligent, just powerful people that I know who love Disney movies, who go to the theme parks, who, you know, like I've got a buddy of mine, his wife got interviewed by Kelly Clarkson about this musical theater summer camp that she's running. But we're not making fun of that. But we're making fun of these guys who are, who are wrestling fans, grown men, grown women. I know he did not include women in his rant, but grown adults who watch and enjoy wrestling. Now, I am, and I'm going to get off my high horse here in a minute, but, um, I, as anybody who knows me outside of this podcast, knows that there are two main things that I love even more than wrestling. That's my Crimson Tide, and that's
Mhm,
my writing and my storytelling.
mhm.
And I'll include music in that as well, but those are my two biggest loves. And I'm very proud of the fact that I'm a multi-time published author. I have my interview podcast, the Solar Powered Podcast, which is going to be restarting here in the summer. Um, I'm an unabashed, emotional sports fan. But wrestling makes me feel like a little kid again. And I'm no little kid. I just turned 49 years old. I'm no little kid, but it makes me feel like a little kid again. I don't care how old I get. As soon as that Undertaker gong hits, I'm 13 again. I grew up every Saturday on TBS watching Ric Flair and Harley Race and Dusty Rhodes and Sting and Nikita Koloff and all those people. Um, I grew up with this stuff. It helps me stay young. And what I don't understand is what what somebody does for entertainment. It shouldn't be this guy's concern. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. And a lot of us here in the IWC, and yes, I said it, we're part of the IWC here, but a lot of us here in the IWC, I've been calling Rob Parker out about this, and I did not want to let this episode end without giving my 2 cents about this. Rob Parker, you were out of line, and you're entitled to your opinions. Don't get me wrong, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Full stop.
I I thoroughly enjoyed you explaining how you felt about that, and I totally agree with you. Um, I think we've said this on the show numerous times before. This is sports entertainment.
Yes.
Keyword entertainment. that falls in line with MLB, NBA, MLS, all the sports you can think of.
Right.
When you sit here and break down sports, right? We are paying grown men millions and millions of dollars to go outside and throw a football to another person, run down the field into a painted end zone, right? Basketball. I love basketball. I grew up on basketball. That's my sport. I love it. I play it till I can't play it no more. I haven't played in a while, but I would go out there and play right now, out of breath. You're putting a ball through a hoop and putting insurmountable pain on your limbs and knees and elbows and all that hitting the hardwood floor, right? Baseball, you're throwing a ball 100 miles per hour across a plate. Somebody's trying to hit it. And if that ball gets hit, it goes wherever. It could go to your face. I've seen it. You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, totally.
So wouldn't wrestling be in the same aspect of those sports? I mean, these people are going out, right? Entertaining us, acting like a character, which falls in line with the same show you watch, the same movie you watch, whatever the case, reality TV as they call it, in that realm. Okay. Outside of that aspect of it all, they're putting their bodies on the line every single night. This is scripted for as what they're going to say to each other, how they're going to act to each other, how's the match going to go. But far as like the brutality of it all, that's not scripted. That's random.
Yeah.
Me and you go out there and do the same thing they do. I throw you through a table. There's a 50-50 chance that you may go through that table correctly and fine and you'll be fine. I mean, obviously your back hurt or whatever, but there's another chance that I might throw you wrong and you may lay on your neck wrong and you could be paralyzed or
Wind up in a
worse.
wheelchair
Or end up in a
or
real
worse.
yeah, end
Yeah,
up in a
or
wheelchair or
worse.
worse.
Yeah.
So for someone like that, and I'm pretty sure maybe, he's asking a general question like anybody else.
Yeah.
Why is wrestling so special? Right. But if you take out the aspect of what I just said, this is just grown up me, right?
Right.
You and I both grew up on wrestling, right? It's just like growing up watching cartoons. It's just like growing up watching sports. Like it takes you back. It gives you nostalgia as the feeling that you had when you first seen this particular wrestler, like the Undertaker or Hulk Hogan or whatever the case may be. And it's a gateway, like you said, it's a getaway from real world problems. I don't want to sit here and constantly look at the news and see what's going on overseas or what are we doing in our own country and this that, and the third. I want to get away from that. I want to watch something that like brings light into my life, makes me happy. I don't want to sit here and constantly be bothered by negative things. So for Rob Parker. Yeah, Rob Parker to
Parker.
come
Yeah.
out and say what he said about wrestling. And I mean, he probably never watched wrestling, so he probably doesn't get it,
Yeah.
and that's understandable. Or he did, and he just like grew out of it, and that's fine. Everybody grows out of it. That's fine. But to sit here and criticize guy grown men is it? Um, I mean, there's grown women who watch stuff that
Right.
you know shouldn't watch. I mean, like it's grown men not. I mean, like we literally watch guys in these uniforms tackling and hitting each other and could possibly literally unalive themselves
Yeah,
on the field.
yeah, tonight at the NFL draft, we're watching 32 kids become millionaires to play a game.
Yep, yep. And I mean, we can go in depth with that. I mean, like, yeah, sure, they're basically finna change their lives and get paid millions of dollars, but like the pressure they finna face, um, the families that are finna change from this moment, the pressure that is going to be put on their backs as young men
Hmm.
is instrumental. I mean, obviously they got paid in college too. You throw it
Yeah,
out there.
of course.
But
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like I mean, it's not that easy just to go out there and play sports.
Right.
It's a lot of other politician things going on behind the scenes. So
Yeah, yeah, I think of somebody like one of my favorite baseball players right now, Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Braves.
right,
You know, phenomenal athlete, you know, one of the like just a generational type talent.
right,
But here's a guy who, has made a very good living for himself in Major League Baseball. But he is a proud native of the nation of Venezuela. Won the World Baseball Classic with Venezuela, was crying like a baby when when Venezuela caught that final out. But let's not get it twisted. This is also a young father with two children too. These are what like. I, I I just don't understand why you're choosing to focus on something that brings people joy. I mean, you may can roast somebody for, for being a grown-up who still goes to Disney World and Disneyland. But don't take that away from them.
absolutely.
You may can roast somebody who's a 30-year-old who is going to a Taylor Swift concert. But you don't take that away from them. If it brings you joy, if it brings you peace, why are we taking that away from people? And again, I normally don't let comments like that get to me like this, but when I saw those comments and when I heard the video, it just rubbed me in a very wrong way.
No, it did. I mean, you don't like we see this all the time. I mean, even our some of our friends ask the question, but for you to bring it up on the pod, it definitely rubbed you.
Yeah, yeah, no, completely, completely. All right, well, it's another fun episode. I don't like, again, I don't like getting on my high horse like that, but that just had to be said.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad we got that out there. I mean, because
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there in the world that feels the same way. Like, don't sit here and try to criticize wrestling when we literally have people, like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette or whatever the case may be.
right.
So the reality TV shows that like are way more scripted than wrestling.
Thank you. Yes.
So so
Oh,
don't
yeah.
come for us when we didn't send for you. So okay.
Th- I think that's a great note to leave this on. I think that's a great note to leave this on. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the Wrasslin Roundtable. You can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Follow us on the social media machine. All the links are going to be in the description. And we'll talk to you next Friday.
Oh,
I'm
one
Ryan.
more note.
Yeah, what's up?
Who that?
There you go. All right. For Dom, I'm Ryan. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Until we eat again, so long for now. And don't let Danhausen curse you.